move on though, because there is a game of games to preview. There is a game of games to preview on Thursday morning.
Yes.
This, from a ways out, has been, I mean, we've been talking about New Zealand, South Africa, and even Japan, Scotland, and all of these great games that are going to be the games of the tournament in terms of the pool stages. Ever since the draw happened, this has been my favourite rugby match of the pool stages. Georgia against Fiji, rugby's ultimate clash of styles.
It's true. Yeah.
This is like you talk about in fighting, that styles make matchups. You couldn't have a more diametrically opposed and yet at a similar standard in terms of two teams.
Definitely.
It's crazy. This game could be off the chain. I'm so curious to see how it pictures. You've got the Georgians, these big, marauding, physical wrestlers. They're like the boa constrictor of a rugby team, you know. They get a hold of you, they keep you down in your own territory, they hold the ball and they squeeze the living daylight out of you, make it all about physicality and pain, and you're there, this, you know, optimistic striking fighter, but then Khabib Nurmagomedov has a hold of you, and you can't get anything off. You can't do any of the things that you're good at because he's just squeezing you, and you know exactly what's happening, but there's nothing you can do about it. That's Georgia. That's what they're looking to bring to this, and they're looking to tie up these Fijians and knock them and squeeze the life out of them, and that's the Georgian way of going.
But conversely, if that's not to happen, Fiji, they're not a boa constrictor at all. They're more elegant than that, more flowy than that. They like to get things off, you know. They like to mix it at distance. They're kind of a bit more Roy Jones or something, kind of throwing flim flam, throwing shapes, knocking you out with some random stuff you don't see coming, and playing at speed, being quicker than you, which is why the pace of this game is going to be so curious, because one side wants to have it, like you say, like a snail pace, like nothing getting off, and very slow, and like just frustrate the Fijians, not have them get anything off. But at a second's notice, Fiji can break. If the ball bounces loose, Fiji can go from end to end. We know this. They have giant hands that can cup that ball like a tennis ball and offload at crazy angles.
Play that basketball rugby, get it going.
Exactly.
Flowy mofos and striking from, like you say, when Georgia are dominating you, you know exactly what's happening.
This is it.
But you can do nothing at all to stop it. But when Fiji are going well, you don't know what's going on. You were in the game all of a sudden, and now it's 3 minutes later, and they've done a bunch of basketball and flim flam, and now they're 21-0 up. What's going on?
You also thought that you hit like the likes of Kunatani even, but Yato, Nakarawa, you thought you hit him with two men, but somehow a telescopic hand emerges and releases the ball. All of that is indeed, like, there's potential for anything in this game, but it is going to be very, very interesting to see who sets that pace. Who, like, in the first 10 minutes, how quick is the game going? Like, it doesn't matter who's scored or what's happened, it's just who's setting that pace. So it'll come down to some interesting technical points on both sides. We need the halfbacks on both sides have been up and down so far, let's say the least. They've definitely had some good moments and some bad. And both the big challenge for all the halfbacks or out half and halfbacks on this pitch, because they'll need to kick their team into the right positions. Even Vola will need to have his head screwed on in terms of, like, we can't necessarily run from everywhere. We want to try and navigate our way. We certainly don't want to play Georgia's game though. Don't get sucked into that. No, I don't think they will.
They got to move the ball out of the contact zone. They got to make it all about speed and all about running angles. They're like, the Georgians are big in the contact, but the Fijians shouldn't be shy about their size either, especially in those wide channels.
The likes of Yato will probably fancy his chances going into contact, but like,
not in those narrow
not
areas.
In the narrow areas.
Not even a tier 1 side should be so brave. I wouldn't recommend Billy Vunipola doing one-offs off 9 against the Georgians. I just wouldn't recommend it. Not the way to go. You move the ball around, you get the ball into Volavola's hands and then outside them. And that's where you get the guys like
Radradra on the wing. If he's getting his hands on the ball, that's danger for Georgia, because their defence has already been tested. I wonder will Fiji, because John McKee obviously was found wanting a little bit when Uruguay, but Uruguay did a bit of a like, he tried to rotate his players, but Uruguay found out and really kind of...
I'm hesitant to criticise him, because Fiji in that mood are like the most difficult side to coach. They're just the most difficult side to coach.
No, very true. And to be fair, they created enough chances to win that game. They've created like 5 chances, then butchered all of them. That's a pinch of salt duly added. But will he pick up on what has been isolated as a very palpable weakness in the Georgian defence off set piece by Wales, and even Uruguay managed to get some plays off in that area, is just the connection between the back line and the forward pack, particularly off lineouts, is just there are two props there. There's a prop and a hooker covering that space.
Yeah, and they still haven't changed.
And they still haven't changed it the week after, and it's like, are Fiji going to isolate that? Going to try and flood that channel with some players? That would be nice to see. They absolutely should.
The other thing is that they don't need to even do it with a winger. You can move Randrandra off the other end to disguise it from the Georgians, and then have Kunatani fill that space, because Kunatani, he's kind of like a winger in that open space himself.
Certainly compared to a 2 and a 1 or something. Like a Georgian front row forward is not going to cover that space like Kunatani.
No, indeed. Yeah, the Fijians, it's got to be about speed, but then actually absolutely work a kicking game in, turn that Georgian pack around.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that they can get their hands on the ball, clear it from the contact zone, and then run the Georgians ragged in the heat. That's not what they'll like to see at all.
Yes.
Error count is crucial to keep limited if you're
This
Fiji.
is the point. Like,
knock-ons can become
playing
penalties.
anything like they were against the Uruguayans, where they're throwing Hail Mary passes and someone in the move is allowing it to break down.
Yeah.
That's a scrum, and a scrum is more than likely a penalty. I'm saying 9 scrums out of 10 in this game are a Georgian penalty. So likely. Avoid them. So Fiji, despite they need to stick to the offloading and they need to shift the point of contact, but don't go into contact looking for the offload first. Like, you can't contact with any Georgian, even if he's a winger Georgian, he's still likely to win that contact. Like, they love it. As soon as they get their hands on you, they're going to wrestle you to the floor. So be wary of that. Don't be loose. Don't be dropping balls. Don't be throwing them slightly, letting them drift forward out of your hand. That's a recipe for disaster, because Georgia want nothing more than to set up camp in the 22 and just pick and jam.
For Georgia, it's their usual plan. It's about holding the ball, spending long periods with the ball in the opposition.
We saw it against Uruguay. We were saying earlier in the podcast, that picture they painted against Uruguay, those frustrated as Americans just scratching their head, going, they're too physical, they're scrum, we can't do, and it takes 2 Uruguayans to stop 1 Georgian, and we can't,
the Uruguayan commentator was shell shocked by what was happening to him. It was like they just were too strong. And that's like, they have painted that picture against tier 1 sides where they just have the ball in your half. And listen, when they have the ball in your half, I don't care who you are, there's not a lot you can do about it. There really isn't.
They pick and jam, and
super slow, and they just carry and win every contact because they're all giant men, and resource the ruck, and then do it again and again and again until, out of sheer boredom or exhaustion, you end up giving them either a penalty or a score. And that's the picture. The question for Georgia is how to make it happen. Because having the ball in the opposition half isn't the game, it's getting the ball in the opposition half. And there were a few little indications that they're sort of thinking about that. They've replaced their incumbent out half, Absendadze, with the guy who was Kavaladze, who was playing fullback last weekend,
very good,
and got Madiashvili back in at fullback. Those are 2 kicking options. Lobzanidze hasn't been kicking well. They should use those kicking options. They should use bombs. They were good in the air. The Fijians, in terms of their back 3, even
are ropey in the air usually.
They're not great. Like they have great hands, but not in the aerial
kind of
retaining the ball. It's not a natural skill of theirs.
No.
So that is an area. Accurate bomb kicks could be huge for the Georgians, but also finding space and making set pieces out of the game. Loose kicks to the back 3 are an absolute no-no.
Against Fiji? Are you kidding me? Like, especially with the way they've been defending, particularly in the first half. Like, Georgia, it was great for them, that performance against Uruguay, got the win that they deserved, got their monkey off their back. Still wary of the fact that they've started sluggishly in so many games this year. Started slowly, but a try in the opening minutes was great the last time. Exactly.
It's something they have to emphasise.
They really do. They really need to recognise the importance of it, because if Fiji get 2 tries, that's close to game over by my estimations.
I think so.
Like, they would have to wrestle the ball and hold it and manage to control the rest of the game and get scores for that to win. They're much better front runners than chasers, whereas Fiji, even if Georgia are 12 points up at some point, like, Fiji can rein that back in, but relatively quickly.
Does become, against Georgia, there's a sense of just getting stuck in quicksand about it. You're so drained, and the more you fight, the more you end up just sinking lower into deeper. It is that there's so many metaphors you can use, but I mean, one of the crucial areas that is going to be a deciding element of the game is what the Georgians bring on defence. I mean, we've been critical of their defence. If they can get some positive line speed, which they have got going in times gone by, and dominate contacts and then get in the rucks and spoil. A couple of jackals would be huge.
Sure.
Stripping that ball in contact is an area that they're pretty strong. And then all of a sudden, because Fiji goes so wide so quickly, I think Sharakadze is huge coming back into that centre partnership.
Back in at 12. He had been at 13, but that's okay. He can lead a defensive line.
You can lead a defensive line from 12, but one of the things that you can do is if you get up quick enough and Fiji don't get a playoff, all of a sudden they've conceded a load of ground. They're not the most disciplined team at getting back behind the ball to resource a ruck. So all of a sudden that's an opportunity to poach the ball. So that Georgian D is going to be crucial as well. In terms of how it's going to go, I mean, I'm curious. This is the classic. This is as good a stylistic matchup as rugby can deliver. It's a really, really cool picture. If you're a neutral, watch this game with all the curiosity in the world. I don't know how it's going to go. I kind of love and adore both sides. For very, very different reasons. It's beauty versus the beast.
It is,
and
exactly
both have
that.
their merits. But in terms of who's going to win the game, I don't know. My gut says Fiji are going to find it. I mean, they've picked a stacked side. If they can find their skill set, they are a very tough time to deal with.
You know, I'm leaning that way too. I'm leaning that way for myriad different reasons, even just based on the showing, the Ireland v Japan, to reference that again from just gone. Another case of conservatism versus endeavour. And in World Cups, you know, like being able to grab tries is what gets you over the line more often than not. And I think of these two teams, Fiji are the side that are better placed to just, even if it's going horrendously wrong, grab a try and win. Whereas Georgia just take very long about getting their tries. And that being said, now I would love to see the Georgians smother Fiji for a little while and then just see that Fiji panic kind of materialise.
I don't think they recover from it. I think if that happens, I don't think they recover. I think this is a very tough game to call, but it's not going to be close.
No,
whoever wins it is going to win this convincingly, and you're going to know pretty early.
Yeah, that's probably true. You know,
it is. By the way, we haven't even touched on it just because of the colour of the game. It is a crucial game for both sides.
Yes,
World Cup qualification for 2023 on the line. Almost certainly going to the winner of this game. So there's that massive element to it as well. It is cup final time for both of these very, very interesting sides. You're calling Fiji to win it?
I think I am,
Then I will call Georgia.
The Lelos getting it done.
Chava at tight head is going to be the World Cup top try scorer.
To be fair, he could be the bane of the Fijians. Their scrum has improved, but Georgia.
Narishvili at loosehead is one of the best scrummaging looseheads in the world, if not the best. If not the best.
But watch that game, Georgia Fiji, Thursday, 6:15 a.m. Ireland time. It's in Hanzono. What is it? Hanazono Rugby Stadium, Osaka. And we didn't touch on it, but Paul Williams refereeing, was that impactful? I don't think that'll.
Paul Williams,
maybe favour Fiji slightly.
I don't hate Paul Williams. I mean, they were like Luke Pearce was giving the Georgians a hard time. The only thing that we would want to flag with a Kiwi is just that ridiculous, irritating picture of when the Georgians are driving a scrum forward and the ball is there at 8, and he's going, "Oh, ball's there, use it." And then the Georgians going, but what about all this that's going on here as we're trotting forward?
Is this not using it? That's my take on it. Like if the scrum's going forward, you're using the ball.
Yeah, the game's not dead. We're moving forward. We're on our way to the try line.
Yes, just keep it in this scrum forever. So that is the only thing to flag, and it is a thing to flag because I've seen Kiwis do that a lot of the time, so and it's annoying.
Just because you see the ball doesn't mean they have to use it. We're marching forward here, sir.
But it also means, like, while you're pointing at the ball and saying use it, you're not watching the front row domination that's going on, which is a very relevant thing because it's a penalty. So that's a potential thing. But I'm gonna stick with Fiji and just gonna say that.
Yeah, and I'll say Georgia. I love the Georgians. You're in your Georgian colours here.
It's just what I'm thinking, you know.
No, I think you're probably right, to be honest.
But definitely a game to watch.
Definitely a game to watch. If you're a neutral and you're not watching that game, what are you doing with yourself? That is rugby.
Thank you very much for watching that video. Please like and subscribe for all our new Rugby World Cup content, and please leave a comment down below as well because we enjoy hearing your thoughts on it. Thanks.